Have you ever had your day ruined by a simple, mean-spirited comment or a disdainful gesture? It happens to all of us routinely. But the fundamental truth is this: no one possesses control over your emotions unless you give them permission. Now, imagine the profound feeling of maintaining calm, regardless of what happens. Imagine enjoying an entire day with such inner peace that absolutely nothing can disturb your equilibrium. This isn't just a distant dream, but a real transformation that materializes when you learn to manage your emotions. In this video, I'm going to share 10 essential Stoic practices that will help you stop reacting impulsively, dissolve anger, and reclaim control of your feelings. Stoicism doesn't advocate becoming insensitive or ignoring your emotions, but rather learning to understand them intelligently. You will learn to process criticism without losing your composure, establish firm boundaries, and, crucially, free yourself from the grudges that imprison you. Before we move forward, like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. This way, YouTube will recognize that our content is relevant and recommend it to more people who can also benefit. Number 1. Understand that you hold the power. Imagine yourself on a serene day, relaxing on the sofa or taking care of your tasks. Everything is going well until someone utters something that displeases you. Your peace dissipates, and a wave of frustration or anger overcomes you. You think, this person ruined my day. But the truth is inexorable. No one can ruin your day without your permission. You hold complete control over your reactions. This moment of frustration is merely a choice. What the other person says or does may be like a button they press on you, but who decides whether the button will be pressed is exclusively you. The world will always present challenges, but how you react to them is your decision. True strength emanates from your ability to control your emotions and not from impulsive reactions. Now, imagine being in a bustling city with cars honking and people talking loudly. Although the noise persists, it doesn't invade your personal space. It's like using noise-canceling headphones. The sound exists, but you choose not to let it affect your inner peace. This is the essence of mastering your reactions, living in a chaotic world and still maintaining your center. Tranquility does not come from the absence of noise, but from the choice not to be carried away by it. Between the stimulus and your response, there is a space. It is in this space that your power lies. True freedom is in how you decide to react. This is self-control, choosing calm over anger, understanding over impulsivity. For example, when someone cuts you off in traffic, the temptation is to react with anger. But what if, instead, you take a step back? In that small gap of time, you realize that your response is a choice. Also, think about a coworker who devalues your ideas. You could get angry and dwell on it all day. But what happens if, instead of reacting, you stop and reflect? Ask yourself, is this about me or about their stress? This moment of reflection gives you the power to decide. Often, other people's reactions have more to do with them than with you. This pause helps neutralize the emotional impact of the situation. Thinking this way doesn't mean ignoring or suppressing what you feel. Anger, frustration, and disappointment are natural and part of being human. The secret is to realize that these emotions don't have to determine your actions. Each emotion is a chance to reflect, not a sentence that defines the next step. A simple way to train this mindset is to pause whenever you feel triggered. Ask yourself, what am I feeling? Anger, hurt. Naming the emotion interrupts the automatic reaction. Then ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Is it about what happened or how I interpreted the situation? And lastly, choose your response. Decide to act according to your values, not your emotions. Now, imagine the freedom of living without letting others steal your peace. The insensitive comment, the setback, the ignorant stranger, they lose the power to affect you when you become the master of your reactions. You have two options: let others define how you feel, or reclaim your power and maintain your inner peace. The next time someone tries to annoy you, remember, their behavior has no power over your peace. Your reaction does. And it is in this choice for calm that you find true emotional freedom, and also the freedom to live with purpose and serenity. Number 2, I wouldn't act like that. Free yourself from this expectation. Have you ever noticed how frustrated we get when we expect others to act our way and they don't? Disappointment soon appears, and we think, how can they be so insensitive? I would never do that. The truth is that people act according to their own experiences, not our expectations. Trying to control their behavior is like trying to catch the wind. No matter how hard we try, It will always follow its own path. Each person has their own perspective on life, shaped by their beliefs and experiences. When someone acts in a way that hurts us, it doesn't reflect who we are. Most of the time, it's just a reaction based on what the person knows, nothing more. Trying to change other people's behavior only brings us frustration. Instead of expecting them to adjust to what we want, it's healthier to accept who they are. Imagine a work meeting. A colleague interrupts you all the time. Instead of getting frustrated or trying to correct their behavior, try to see the situation differently. Their way of acting reflects themselves, not you. When you stop expecting them to change, the stress goes away. As William Shakespeare said, expectations are the root of all suffering. The less we expect from others, the more we can protect our inner peace. Here's a simple exercise. Every time someone irritates you, ask yourself, what did I expect this person to do? Then ask yourself, is it realistic to expect them to act exactly as I would? Instead of trying to change their ways, focus on how you can react more calmly, maintaining your emotional balance. Imagine the freedom of letting go of all these expectations. The rude person, the friend who forgot about you, the colleague who wasn't considerate. None of them can take away your peace unless you allow it. When you stop expecting others to act according to your wishes, you regain control over your reactions. Accepting this does not mean tolerating bad attitudes or giving up your principles. It's simply realizing that your peace is worth more than something that is beyond your control. The next time someone disappoints you, take a deep breath and remember, they are acting as they are, not as I would like them to be. This is beyond my control. In the end, the choice of how to react is yours. By getting rid of expectations, you gain not only freedom in relation to people, but also relief from the emotional weight you were carrying. Number 3, give up the need to always be right. Think about the last time you won an argument. Maybe it was about something small, like the best way to go, or maybe something more serious with a friend or partner. During the conversation, you probably felt the need to prove you were right, as if that were the only important thing. Being right all the time is often linked to an internal insecurity, as if being proven wrong threatened our identity. But what if, instead of insisting on your opinion, you sought to understand the other person, opening up space for new ideas? Is being right worth more than having peace? When you focus on always winning an argument, you end up generating more tension, fueling frustration, and harming your relationships. On the other hand, when you choose not to cling to being the only one who is right, there is a sense of relief and inner peace. Think about it. If someone unfairly accuses you, the urge to defend yourself arises immediately. But is it really worth spending energy trying to prove they are wrong? The answer most of the time is no. Here's a simple example. Your friend says they have the perfect solution to a problem, and you disagree. Instead of getting into conflict, you can calmly respond, I understand your opinion, and I respect it. This type of response diffuses the situation and maintains peace. Those who cling too much to their own opinions never evolve. Abandoning the need to be right doesn't mean abandoning your principles, but rather choosing your battles more intelligently, knowing when it's better to yield and when it's necessary to assert yourself. Over time, you will realize that giving up the obsession with being right brings more lightness and serenity. In the end, you don't need to win the conversation because you have learned to choose peace over pride. Remember, true strength is not in winning arguments, but in knowing how to behave in them, and above all, in maintaining your peace. When the temptation to prove something arises, ask yourself, does being right bring happiness, or is it peace that transforms us? Start ignoring this need now. Comment, I prefer my peace, and understand that this statement shows that you are stronger than any situation. Number 4, don't be defined by the words of others. Imagine a moment when you share something that really motivates you, something that touches your heart. Suddenly, someone blurts out negative criticism. That unexpected word shatters the mood, and your confidence plummets. But why does this happen? The reason is simple. Often, we give other people the power to define how we see ourselves. When we seek approval from outside, we allow others to control our worth. True power comes from within, and that is what gives us confidence. When someone criticizes your work, the initial reaction may be to defend yourself or become discouraged. But what if, Instead of reacting immediately, you paused and thought that that opinion is just that, an opinion, not a sentence about your worth. This pause creates space for reflection. It gives you the chance to process before acting, not to ignore what was said, but to separate what is useful from what does not deserve to be absorbed. It is an exercise in inner peace, something the Stoics always emphasized. It's not about controlling what happens, but about controlling how we react to it. By taking this pause, you reaffirm who you really are. It's not about being indifferent to criticism, but about acting with authenticity, without letting yourself be shaped by the judgment of others. Your worth does not depend on the opinion of others. It comes from within. Being aware of this strengthens your self-esteem. Lao Tzu reminds us, if you care too much about what others think, you become their prisoner. Freeing yourself from the constant search for approval does not mean ignoring others, but rather letting go of what does not contribute to your growth. This is liberating and brings emotional lightness to live well. The next time someone challenges your confidence, pause and ask yourself, is this really going to define who I am? Or can I focus on what is really important? This simple reflection is the key to recognizing your true strength. True strength is not in avoiding criticism, but in knowing who you are and standing firm. When you stop allowing the words of others to define your worth, you create space for who you really are. And by doing so, you not only become more authentic, but you also maintain your peace, something no one can take away from you. Number 5, honor your own boundaries. Imagine a day full of commitments and responsibilities. In the middle of it, someone comes with a request they could easily solve on their own, or a coworker throws a last-minute task into your hands. What do you feel? Growing frustration, right? This affects your plans, and you wonder, why is it so hard to say no? The answer is simple. To protect your peace, you need boundaries. Without them, you let others decide how you spend your time and energy. Saying yes all the time also means saying no to what really matters to you. The big lesson here is you can't give your best to others if you don't take care of yourself first. If you give yourself away without considering your own energy, frustration and exhaustion become inevitable. Setting boundaries is first and foremost an act of self-respect. They not only protect your inner peace, but also help create healthier and more balanced relationships. Remember, when someone crosses your boundaries, the responsibility is yours for not having defended them clearly. People have no way of guessing your needs. If you don't communicate your boundaries, they end up being invaded, often unintentionally. Setting boundaries is a form of respect for both yourself and others. For example, imagine that a friend always asks you for advice late at night, even wanting to help. This type of situation becomes unsustainable. Instead of getting frustrated, try saying, I'd love to help you, but I need to rest. Can we talk tomorrow? This is a firm and gentle way to protect your well-being without harming the friendship. As Aristotle said, true freedom is not in doing what you want, but in doing what you should. If you have difficulty setting boundaries, start with clarity and honesty. Express your needs simply and directly. People tend to respect you more when they know it's exactly what you need. Say, for example, I need some time for myself after work, instead of accusing someone by saying, you always bother me. The way you communicate makes all the difference. After setting your boundaries, be consistent. Consistency shows that you really value your space and time. As the saying goes, he who knows when to stop avoids falling into traps. By respecting your own boundaries, you get rid of unnecessary stress and create a more balanced life. Boundaries are not barriers that push people away, but rather foundations for healthier and more respectful relationships. When you honor your own boundaries, you recover your energy and direct it to what really matters. Remember, your priority is yourself, your peace, your time, and your well-being. By putting yourself first, you can offer your best to the world. Number 6, detach yourself from the opinions of others. Have you ever felt bad after sharing an idea or opinion and being met with criticism or indifference? The pain is real. This feeling can turn your self-confidence into uncertainty. But pause for a moment and reflect. Why do other people's opinions have so much power over you? We have all fallen into the trap of seeking approval. It's like trying to grasp a shadow. You will never succeed. True freedom appears when you decide not to submit to what others think. Each person sees the world based on their own experience and insecurities. What they say about you actually reveals more about who is speaking than about who you are. When you pay too much attention to other people's opinions, you hand over control of your emotions and end up letting others decide your life for you. Your worth is not up for discussion. No matter what they say or think about you, your worth is unshakable. This is detachment. The moment you free yourself from the need for approval, you begin to live according to your true essence. For example, you choose a new outfit and feel great in it. When you ask a colleague, they make fun of you and say, "I don't know." You can let yourself be affected or simply realize that this opinion does not have the power to diminish your happiness. This is the key. Detachment. Not letting what others think define your state of mind. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." This can be difficult, but this detachment is true freedom. Growing requires you to follow your own path, even if it displeases others. The search for approval can paralyze, but only you can walk your journey. So how do you start to free yourself from the opinions of others? First, question the value of these opinions. When something bothers you, ask, why does this affect me so much? What authority does this person have over my life? Reaffirm your values and focus on what really matters to you. Your actions should be guided by your own goals and not by the expectations of others. When faced with criticism, acknowledge it, but don't let it dominate you. Imagine these words like leaves falling into a river. They pass without leaving a trace. Remember, if you seek approval, you will be a prisoner of people. The next time someone tries to shake your confidence, ask yourself, am I living for this person or for myself? Choose to ignore what doesn't matter. Your path is unique and does not need to be shaped by fleeting opinions. Number 7, the power of answering without saying anything. In moments of provocation, the temptation is to respond with anger. Heat rises, the heart races, and the urge to defend yourself becomes almost irresistible. But have you ever thought about simply saying nothing? Silence, contrary to what many think, is one of the most powerful responses you can give in the midst of confrontations. It is not weakness. On the contrary, it is a demonstration of self-control and inner strength. When you choose not to react, you prioritize your inner peace over the need to justify yourself, and this reflects wisdom. Imagine a situation where someone tries to humiliate you publicly. You can react, get into a fight, and lose your energy. Or you can choose silence. By doing so, you remove the person's power to affect you, showing that their reaction has no influence over you. Silence, as Stoic philosophy teaches us, is a more effective response than anger. After all, anger needs fuel to grow, but silence quickly extinguishes it. By choosing not to engage, you cut off the cycle of negativity and preserve your emotional health. Think of silence as a shield. It deflects attacks without dragging you into battle. Here are 3 ways to use silence as your strongest response. Wait before reacting. When someone provokes you, take a moment to breathe and calm down. This small gap creates a space for clarity and reflection. Listen without defending yourself. Often, people just want to be heard. Offer that space without the need to justify your actions. Speak only when necessary. If you are going to speak, let it be calmly and objectively. Remember, speak only if your words can truly improve the situation. Silence does not mean suppressing your feelings, but choosing the right time to express them. It does not ignore the problem, but helps preserve your energy, waiting for the moment when your words will have a real impact. How many times have we regretted something said impulsively? Silence is a protection mechanism that allows us to reflect before reacting and avoid these regrets. The next time someone tries to provoke you, ask yourself, will my response improve things or just make the atmosphere heavier? By choosing silence, you protect your peace and demonstrate the control you have over the situation. Silence is true wisdom, the ability to rise above the chaos and affirm, your words do not affect me, my peace does. And so, you win the battle without having to raise your voice. Number 8, transform anger with gratitude. Have you ever found yourself in the middle of a day where nothing seemed to go right? Anger appears, and you ask yourself, why do things have to be so difficult? Now, what if, instead of giving in to anger, you decided to change your perspective? What if, instead of focusing on what is wrong, you started to see what is going well? Gratitude has the power to soften anger and transform even the most challenging moments into opportunities to find calm. There is a simple truth in this. We cannot feel anger and gratitude at the same time. When you connect with what is positive, anger loses its impact. It doesn't magically disappear, but it runs out of room to grow. Everything you focus on expands. Just as small gestures increase your anger, small thanksgivings change your energy. Cicero stated that gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all others. When you practice gratitude, it not only extinguishes anger, but also strengthens your patience, resilience, and your ability to focus on what really matters. It is a tool always within your reach, simple and powerful. The key is to turn this into a habit. When anger strikes, take a moment to breathe and ask yourself, what can I be grateful for now? Try, at the end of each day, to write down 3 things you are grateful for. It can be something very simple, but it helps move your focus to what is good, even on days when the weather closes in. Furthermore, it is important to change the way we see situations. When something doesn't go as imagined, instead of dwelling on the problem, ask yourself, what good can I get out of this? If you receive negative criticism, for example, instead of letting yourself be dominated by anger or sadness, try to reflect, I am grateful to be able to learn from this opinion, even if the form was not the best. This does not mean passively accepting harmful behaviors, but rather taking control of how you react, maintaining your tranquility. Remember, even if the day has been difficult and you have not learned as much as you would like, at least you have not lost your health. Gratitude is an invitation to change the focus from what is missing to what we already have. It's not about ignoring anger or frustration, but about consciously deciding to look at what uplifts us and not at what brings us down. Number 9, find value in criticism. It is normal for criticism to make us uncomfortable, but when we see it with an open mind, it can become a powerful tool for growth. Instead of facing it as an obstacle, we can use it to challenge ourselves and improve. Imagine you are preparing for a presentation and receive feedback from a colleague pointing out several weaknesses. Instead of ignoring or defending yourself, pause for a moment and think, what can I learn here? Is there something I can really improve? Changing the focus from defense to learning transforms criticism into a chance to improve your skills. As Lao Tzu reminds us, knowing others is intelligence. Knowing yourself is true wisdom. Criticism then becomes a mirror that reflects aspects of ourselves that we might not see on our own. Of course, not all criticism will be constructive. Some come from negative places or from people who do not have good intentions. The secret is to know how to separate what is useful from what is not worthwhile. Here are 3 suggestions for dealing with criticism more clearly. Take a deep breath before responding. This moment of pause helps to avoid impulsive responses and allows for calmer reflection. Evaluate the source. Who is giving the opinion? Does this person's opinion really deserve to be taken into account? This can change the way you see what was said. Find the lesson. Even in the harshest criticism, there is something to be learned. Ask yourself, what good can I get out of this now? Imagine that someone in your family criticizes your life choices. Instead of reacting defensively, you respond calmly, without letting the situation turn into an argument. As Epictetus said, no person is free who is not master of himself. By maintaining calm and control, you transform criticism into an impetus to evolve and not into an obstacle to your inner peace. Therefore, when receiving criticism, instead of worrying about the judgment of others, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? This simple exercise can be the key to becoming a stronger and more balanced person. Criticism, when faced calmly, is an opportunity to grow. Accept it with humility, and you will see that learning is in discomfort. Embracing this process is the path to developing resilience and a deeper connection with yourself. Number 10, master the art of letting go. Imagine you are holding a hot ember, ready to throw it at someone who hurt you. But while you wait for the right moment, the ember burns your hand. Anger and resentment are exactly like this ember. You hurt yourself more by holding on to them than the person who caused your pain. True strength is not in continuing to fuel this fire, but in knowing when to let go. Letting go does not mean forgetting or ignoring what happened. It is about releasing the emotional weight that keeps you trapped in the past, creating space to fully live the present. As has been said, holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. How we react to what hurts us defines our journey and our path of evolution. Now think, is there something that hurt you? How much time have you spent thinking about it? How much energy have you wasted imagining what you would do or looking for a way to get revenge? Letting go is the key to breaking this cycle and moving forward with freedom. Imagine that at your job, someone takes advantage of your idea without giving due credit. You could spend days dwelling on this injustice, or you could decide not to give it more importance than it deserves. Remember that your worth does not depend on moments like this. By letting go of this hurt, you protect your peace and focus on your growth and opportunities. As Lao Tzu teaches us, when I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. Letting go is more than releasing anger or resentment. It is leaving behind perfectionism, fear of failure, and the need to control everything around us. It is accepting life with its uncertainties and discovering freedom in acceptance. Here are 3 steps to start practicing. Recognize your feelings without judging them. Suppressing emotions only makes them stronger. So allow yourself to feel. Rethink the situation. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? Focus on the now. Letting go is your choice, not someone else's. When you change your vision, you feel the emotional weight disappear. Think of it as releasing a balloon. The more you hold on, the more it resists. But when you release it, it rises and you feel lighter. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, do not be bothered by what is outside your control. When you realize you are trapped in anger or regret, ask yourself, is it worth losing my peace over this? What would happen if I simply let it go? This is the path to true emotional freedom. True strength is in knowing when to let go. Over time, as you practice this, your lightness increases, and the more you let go, the stronger you become. True peace will always be within your reach. If you've made it this far, comment on the way, and thank you for watching.